Another day in the MLB here. Big ol' slate tonight. The work begins as it always does on the Splash Play channel. We're to dig in and compare my projections to one of the industry's leaders, our friends over at Stokastic. See the top plays are today at hitter and at pitcher. We'll also check out the top stacks, do a little bit of game by game mixed in, see where the important matchups are on today's slate. We'll hop over to Stokastic, run a sim, see what their top ROI lineups are without my interference. I'll do a hand build. We're just going to have a lot of my interference. And then by the end of this video, guys, you'll know all the industry's must plays along with my splash plays for today, May 1st. A brand new month here, 2026. Let's get into it. I hope it was a good day for you guys yesterday. I feel like I had a really good NBA day. I had an okay MLB day trading the paint, but the Terrence Shannon thing in NBA, I'm sure I'll talk about that more in the NBA video. Helped out a lot for NBA. For MLB, feel like Paul Skeens getting blown up, but did not help. But you know, Christopher Sanchez had a mediocre day, ended up getting there really late, racked up a lot of strikeouts at the end of his start, ended up getting the win too. So he ended up being a guy that the chalk paid off. I hope you guys had a good day, whatever you played out there. I feel like MLB, it's just feels like a lot of trading paint in some days. I would like the big payoff slates to come. Maybe it'll be today where we have the $8 tournament with $50K up top on DraftKings. That's what we're always hoping for here. Your top projected players today, we got number 1, Aaron Judge, 12.4 fantasy points today projected in my data for Aaron Judge. Let's pull in Stokastic data, which you guys cannot see if you sign up for the site. It's just something here on this that we use here on the show to kind of give you the comparison points that we try to do, presenting my stuff versus theirs. But Aaron Judge, 11.5 today from Stokastic. For Aaron Judge today, you are getting a matchup going against Cade Povich, lefty pitcher, so we get some of the best of video game Aaron Judge splits. I always love when he gets a lefty. 440 ISO for Aaron Judge against lefties, 490 on base. How can you get on base half the time in real life? Like, that is something that legit, you'll do an MLB The Show, and you're like, this is not real. This is what Aaron Judge does versus lefties. And then for Cade Povich himself, gives up a 3.5% home run rate against righty batters, 270 batting average against righty batters. Only a 178 ISO against righties, as opposed to 193 ISO against lefties. Point being is that Aaron Judge, an absolute demon against lefties, 9.6% home run rate, just comical numbers against left-hand pitching. He's getting a guy who's not particularly good. So for Aaron Judge here, I think he's looking solid. The issue is he's really expensive at 6,500. Same thing we have on every slate. Unlike an Ohtani, you can have Judge having the days where you don't get to 10 fantasy points at all. But accounting for, you know, the spot as well, Yankee Stadium, wind blowing out. It's not super hot. They're only 58 degrees, but 5 implied runs for the Yankees today, going against a not great pitcher, mediocre bullpen, Judge with those splits against lefties. I would take that shot with the field today. Field's at 14%. I'm getting 10. Across the 100,000 contest sims that I run at splashplaypodcast.com. I think Aaron Judge, if he were to hit a home run today, would not be a shocker. I'm pretty sure he'll be the top guy in our home run model. And yes, my microphone, unlike that dastardly Laffy over at Stokastic, whose microphone is not good. He had to use his AirPods today. Poor Laffy. I know how that goes. But yeah, I appreciate that. My mic pristine here. You can see the blue lights popping on it as well. Everything's working fine. Shout out Chunk here. Not sure if I'm dabbling the streets tonight. How could you not dabble when we actually have the cheap tournaments with big money up top? I feel like that's the day. It's the day where I'm most excited about MLB going. That, like, Monday, you get the $5 tournament. Friday, you get the $8. That's the joy there. Getting more entries in, hopefully. While also putting way too much money on an NBA. It's a very fun times. Juan Soto at number 2. Our boy Juan Soto, crushed since he got back. He's been popping on top of my model lately. Has hit a couple home runs this week. Won't be playing in the outfield as well until this weekend, it sounds like. So for Juan Soto, 12% owned. I've got him at 15. My projection, 11.6. A little bit higher than Stokastic's is at their 10.7 number. For Juan Soto, you're going against Walbert Arena. Not a big sample size for him so far. Only 60 batters faced. Going against lefties, nothing noteworthy so far, really. He's not giving up a home run to a lefty yet. 17% K rate's not particularly good, but he's not getting hit super hard. 5% barreled ball rate. Hard hit rate of 27. Yeah, he's not been good because, like, he's not getting strikeouts. He's not doing anything special, really. He is giving up a high batting average, high BABIP, probably unlucky there. But he's not giving up the crazy power. Like, he's getting hit hard, letting guys on base, but not getting smoked. So I don't know. It's a screamingly great match for Juan Soto. You do get the big park swing here. Going to Angel Stadium is going to be about 7% more home runs than when players are playing elsewhere. So for Juan Soto at number 2, like, he's paid off enough times this week. Happy to go there again above the field. But it's on a big stand here, as it usually isn't on hitters. 15% for me. Field's 12. Matt Olson at number 3. We got 8% owned by the field. I've got 9 here. Olson, another guy's been paying off lately, hitting some home runs and clean up for the Braves. Also helps out a little bit with those guys being able to get on base in front of him sometimes. But Matt Olson, definitely more expensive at 5,700 today. He's going against Jose Quintana in Coors. I think we've got it right today. They actually are in Coors for Atlanta. Run total of 6.5 implied runs for Atlanta. So you have the high probability these guys like Acuna, Drake Baldwin, Albies getting on base in front of him. That's a positive. Going against Quintana, his home run rate at 3.2% the last couple years, a little bit above league average. In Coors, though, 60-degree weather, wind blowing in, not super humid. You're getting the big Coors total. It doesn't seem like ideal Coors conditions or anything. But I think Matt Olson's been good enough. At 5,700 feels like a pretty steep price tag, but happy to take that shot with my projection being at 11.1. Stokastic, 2 points behind at 9.1. So maybe you get Sal Stewarted. My data's just fucking dead ass wrong. The Sal Stewart gave, I think, a couple shots a ride where I was like, maybe he can hit one, but he did not. He did not hit one out. Jose Ramirez at number 4 here. Getting some different guys up top today. Jose Ramirez going against JT Ginn, a guy that we're not super worried about generally. Ginn, much worse versus lefties, though, than against righties. Pretty much dead even lefty-righty splits. 315 lefties faced, 319 righties faced. He's got up a 5.1% home run rate to lefties, 2.8% to righties. Strikeout rate's a lot higher against righties, too. 28% K rate against righties as opposed to 18% versus lefties. So lefties seeing the ball really well against Ginn. Obviously, that doesn't benefit Jose Ramirez. But what does benefit Ramirez is that you do have a bunch of lefties around him. Kwan, DeLauder, Manzardo, Schneemann, Bazana, Naylor. Really lefty-heavy lineup expected for Cleveland. Going against a guy who sucks against lefties. Park factor's massive as well in the A's park. Run total is not the biggest at 4.9. But I feel like the guy you want to pay for here is probably one of the lefties. Jose Ramirez is good. He's still your best hitter on Cleveland. 123 WRC plus, higher than anybody else on the team. DeLauder's got pop. Higher ISO at 233 in a small sample size compared to Ramirez. Now, it's a big pay up for Ramirez. Obviously, the park factors, in the A's park, you are going to see home runs fly a little bit more, 16% boost as opposed to elsewhere. Overall park factors, 9% better for hitters across the board. But I don't think the Ramirez matchup is as great as some of the lefties are, and he's really expensive at 6,200. Around Acuna, 5,900 here. And for Ramirez, again, I'm getting 16% fields at 14. Around Acuna, again, massive total in Coors. Really feel like the Coors historical park factors boosting things more. The Vegas total, 6.5 implied runs. Then the actual, it's not warm there. It's not humid. Wind's blowing in. It's not great conditions in terms of that stuff. But Coors still going to be one of your better hitting places to be. I am lower on Atlanta here, though, in terms of the Acuna part of things. I've got him at 10.8. Stokastic has him at 12.6. Pretty decent discrepancy for me here. That means I'm only getting 8% across 100,000 contest sims. And the field's real heavy on Acuna at 22%. Obviously, Acuna and Coors, get how that can happen, but I might be low in the Braves today. FanDuel, your top bats, pretty much the same thing here. Aaron Judge, number 1, 25% for the field on FanDuel. I'm getting 21. So slightly higher numbers for Judge on FanDuel, but still similar rates. Juan Soto, 15%. Let's say 16 for the field. I'm getting 21 on FanDuel. Matt Olson at number 3, 10% owned, getting 13. Jose Ramirez, 20% owned. I'm getting 27. Then Ronald Acuna, 31% for the field. I'm getting 16 on FanDuel. Let's look at our top pitchers here, guys. Zach Wheeler coming up number 1. You always know it's a good slate when Zach Wheeler's at number 1. Wheeler, 19.7 fantasy points for me, 16.8 for Stokastic. Their highest projected guy to be the thumbnail boy, Cole Raggins, who we're going to talk about coming up in a moment here. But Zach Wheeler, number 1 for me. Having the 25% of my 100,000 winning lineups, or 100,000 winning lineups, rather, within that 100,000 is a better way to say that. If I ever get it right, you'd think I'd be able to say my own data points after really reciting them so long now. It's been 3 months the site's been up. And maybe giving out the data here. But Zach Wheeler, 25% across 100,000 lineups here. It's how often he's making a winning one. 22% owned by the field. Wheeler looking good. Only 4 guys above league average in strikeouts that he's going to be facing today. That said, going against Miami, 4 implied runs, not a great run total. Overall cumulative K rate for the team of 22.8%. Wheeler's stuff is good. 31% K rate the last couple seasons, 2.8% home run rate. Does get hit a little bit hard sometimes. Barreled the ball rate at 8%, a little bit high, but obviously when a guy's attacking the plate, you can't get smoked sometimes. But I think Wheeler, I'm not an exciting play, and I probably undersold him. He's got good stuff. Stokastic, ever the Miami respecter, though. I don't know why they're so low in his projection. The Vegas total, I guess, is kind of high, so that's probably it. But Wheeler's got, I would say, the best stuff on the slate. He and Raggins definitely right there amongst the top two. And Mitch Sheehan, a guy that always pops a little bit in my data. Certainly with the Dodgers, always high probability of winning a game. That helps out a good amount here. Dodgers, though, getting a decent park downshift here going into the Cardinals Stadium. Negative 20% for home runs, negative 3% overall in terms of park factors. All that stuff does help out Sheehan a little bit. Fields 17% on Sheehan. I'm getting 28. He's facing 5 guys in this lineup, or expected to face 5 guys that strike at above league average. You do have the same worrisome trio that we talked about going against. That was Skeens yesterday, right? Weatherholt, Herrera, Burleson, like those top 3 are all pretty good, can hit a righty very hard. They're all over a 128 WRC plus. Weatherholt just smashing righties, 253 ISO, only 100 plate appearances so far, but he's great. They're hitting him in leadoff too, which is something you don't really see as often as you should for guys who are the good. Obviously, Ohtani being one. I think a lot of teams often put their best hitter in the 3rd spot, 4th spot. I get wanting that guy to clean up the other guys getting on base, but in reality, you just want to give your best hitter as many at bats as possible. So Weatherholt definitely benefiting from that. Sheehan, seeing him a couple times, not great, but Sheehan's had good strikeout stuff last couple seasons. 29.2% K rate across 400 batters faced, 2.7% on run rate, under league average. You're getting that park factor shift being good for him. He does get barreled, about a 10% barreled ball rate, 41% hard hit rate. That does worry you a little bit, I think, when you have those, Weatherholt in particular, just fucking smoking everybody. And Jordan Walker was good earlier in the year too. He's kind of leveled out. Yeah, I think I'm cool going to Sheehan here. 3.5 implied runs. These bats, I think they're due for some negative regression. I mean, Burleson's got a big enough sample size, probably not him. But Herrera, Weatherholt, Walker, there's downsides to those guys, I think, coming. But Weatherholt's been a monster. Kind of predicting something that hasn't been there so far for him. Cole Raggins at number 3 here. Guy we've talked about a lot. Feel like he's been blown up. He's left games. He's really been a tough guy to pin down this year. Got great strikeout stuff, though. 31.2% K rate the last couple seasons. Today, I'd have him projected for 30.9. Counting for the matchup he's got, going against 5 guys that strike at over league average. Seattle team overall, it's got a lot of dangerous hitters as well. Guys that can create runs. Everybody besides Leo Rivas over a 100 WRC plus. So for Seattle, 3.9 implied runs, not a great run total. It does seem good for Raggins. Like we talked about, we are trying to trust the good arms as opposed to the bats that avoid strikeouts. So Raggins does have that going for him. He's got relatively elite strikeout stuff. My projection at 18.6 today, Stokastic at 17.8. That gets us both about 19%, or excuse me, 29% here. I think Raggins going to be the highest owned guy, it looks like, across my sim at pitcher. Oh, is that not sorting correctly? Well, fuck me then. But for Cole Raggins, seems like he'll be the highest owned guy at pitcher. Yeah, he will be the highest owned guy at pitcher. He's cheap at 8,300. I think you are getting a cheaper price tag for some of the volatility he's had this year with up and down starts for sure. And really, the giving up walks is your biggest concern point. Seattle drawing walks. Getting on base about a 324 average across the entire lineup. Walk rate of 10%. Yeah, I don't know. Raggins, there's something wrong with him. And I never dig deeper into the velocity stuff, ball placement stuff. I didn't fucking switch to the baseball logo today. Pitch count stuff. I really think, well, pitch count I do, but pitch mix stuff rather. I don't really think matters too much. I think people sometimes trip themselves up by digging too deeply in that. But there's something off about Raggins, and the volatility definitely is the thing that you're looking at mostly, and that's the thing that I keep paramount when I have Raggins on a slate. But 8,300 with his strikeout stuff, you don't really get guys that have 30% plus K rates and a decent sample size and a pretty good matchup with, more than half the team striking out above league average. Raggins at 8,300 does represent that today, even though, again, he's hard to pin down. Brian Wu coming up at number 4 here. Woo, as we never say that. But Brian Wu, good pitcher. I think mostly a guy that not excited about the strikeout stuff, even though he is above league average, 24.3% K rate the last couple seasons. Counting for the matchup today against KC, 3.3 implied runs would have him at a 24.2% projected K rate. For Brian Wu, 18.2 projection for me, 16.9 for Stokastic. Really low Vegas total. I think I'm surprised they're not giving him more in the projection with that. But a 9K salary, I mean, I do think rolling the dice with Sheehan with Raggins does appeal to me a little bit more because those guys have electric strikeout stuff. And even if they get hit, kind of like Skeens yesterday, still put up, 17 fantasy points, would say that for, those guys that have that elite strikeout stuff, you can give up some runs and you still having that strikeout ability. You have a good chance to get there. For Brian Wu being about a league average guy, I mean, he's better than league average, but a little bit closer to league average, certainly a lot closer than Wheeler, than Sheehan, than Raggins. There is a little more downside to those pitchers. Logan Gilbert's a good example of that, and he's got better strikeout stuff than Wu does. So Brian Wu, 18% ownership right now for the field. I've got 20. Really nice Vegas total, I think, makes him seem like a good play. But, I'm not like a Vegas total sweater like I think some other people are. Worked out for Christopher Sanchez yesterday, though. Will Warren, 16.2 fantasy points for me, 17 for Stokastic, a little bit low on him. 5 guys that striking above league average, what he's going against today. Really high whip compared to these other guys, 1.4 whip for Will Warren compared to Wheeler and Wu, both under 1. Sheehan and Raggins, 1.1 and 1.2, respectively. For Will Warren here, though, going against a Baltimore lineup with 5 guys that striking above league average, a cumulative 24.2% K rate, not bad. Will Warren, a little bit over league average in terms of home run rate, 3.2% rate given up, gets barreled pretty hard at 10%. I'm low on Will Warren, so I'll just say what I'm thinking. I'd rather play the Orioles going against Will Warren, I think. I don't think he's super impressive. The high whip as well, letting that many guys on base can create some danger, can also create some run generation opportunities. And Baltimore, I mean, Henderson, really the big one up top. Rushman, not great against right-hand pitching the last couple seasons, but maybe that gets better with him being back in there. But really, I think Henderson, Ward, Alonso, Beaver's been good so far against righties. I think those guys kind of appealing against Will Warren is not super special. And the wind's blowing out too. So I'm not crazy about Will Warren here. 23% owned feels like a lot. I think playing some Baltimore against him, if you are playing Will Warren, not a bad move. And then FanDuel, yes, a little woo for everybody here with Brian Wu. Pitchers on FanDuel: Wheeler number 1, Sheehan number 2, Raggins number 3, Wu, Warren, same order of operations here. On FanDuel, though, highest owned pitchers, Wheeler at 16%, Raggins number 2 at 15.4 for me. A little bit higher than the field. Actually, no, a little bit lower than the field on Wheeler and a lot lower than the field on Raggins, who does seem like your chalk on FanDuel. Let's look at our top stacks, guys. Before we do that, though, now it's time to ask. First ask of the video. Please, if you can, hit that like button and subscribe. Goes a long way for me here. Again, I'm just one guy doing the work as best I can. Frankly, I'm getting bogged down a lot lately with just doing all the administrative stuff, setting up. I had to set up an affiliate thing for one person. I had to also get, things going for new images because we got a new partner here on the channel. We're going to talk about in a moment. But it's a lot of work here lately, but I still show up and do the best I possibly can for you guys every day on stream. So please show some love if you can. Hit the like button and subscribe. You guys do that every day, but please keep doing it. If you enjoy this content and want to see it continue on, check out Stokastic too. 15% off all their data, all their tools. Promo code SPLASH over there. You guys know the deal. Going to see more from them in a moment, but getting there now. Promo code SPLASH over there. And my site, splashplaypodcast.com. Go check it out. Of course, that's the big thing here, is seeing it on screen for yourself. $10 cheaper than it is through YouTube, or at least be the only way you get a membership. Now, as you buy directly through me, pay $40 a month for VIP, $20 a month for Squirt Squad tier. And you guys did help me pass the membership goals I had for April, the revenue goals. We've hit a high that we hadn't hit before. Still a lot more to go, but happy to see the numbers moving in the right direction. You guys have been getting your value out of things here. I'm adding as much as I possibly can every day for the MLB and for the NBA and for the NFL. So join at splashplaypodcast.com. And one last plug here, and this is just more introducing the new sponsor, Splash Sports. We're live now. Deal's been signed. So go check out Splash Sports right now if you want to support the show. They're the official Pick'em/Quick Picks partner here, is what they call it over there. But Splash Sports, similar concept to what you're getting some of the other sites out there, except that it's all peer-to-peer. That's the big thing on there. But you can get yourself up to a 48x payout on the 6 picks, on the Quick Pick stuff. So you could use my data with it. That's a great thing to do. I'm actually looking into, can I make a tool for you guys that allows you to use my projections on Splash Sports right now? But go check them out, especially, right now it's going to be basically a short-term thing we're trying out in the hopes of building a long-term one. But if you enjoy this content and you want to get yourself some gambling money instead, maybe you don't want to sign up for DFS and betting tools and data, I don't know why, but you should do both. But go to Splash Sports right now. Promo code SPLASHPLAY on Splash Sports. I know it sounds confusing. We're not related in the Splash than both, but go check them out. They do have it all, and the peer-to-peer part's a really big difference in terms of your pick'em stuff. You don't have to hit them all to win money on Splash Sports. So I think it's a really cool thing. The EV, did some of the math too, because I always want you guys to have your best leg up possible. The EV you get playing the formats on Splash Sports, I think better than you're getting on some other sites out there. So check it out for yourself. Splash Sports, partner with us over here at Splash Play, and use promo code Splash Play over there to sign up. And you also see too, new graphics. Now I have to update all the graphics. I've been using, to be real about it, using ChatGPT for my image generation now. I'm actually paid for Pro for them today, so I could use that because I think they do images better. And I think that Claude does the coding and data stuff better. That's really important to me. But I want to update the entire graphic package on the channel too, so that's hopefully something we can do. So it's, never ends, guys. Try to be a businessman. Look at me, Mr. Big Business. That's what businessmen say. Your top stacks for the day. Our guy Chunk can't play the slate today, but apparently we're getting one of his favorite teams here. Boston, highest ROI stack for me right now. Being paired with Reagans and Sheehan in the small sample size highest ROI group with Duran, Mayer, Anthony, Contreras, Abreu. Let's look at why Boston's coming up. I feel like we're going to mix in our game-by-game view a little bit here. We got Boston going against Houston here, 5.1 implied runs. Weather today, 60 degrees, wind blowing cross to left field. Nothing special there. Burrows, not great, certainly. Pretty good sample size of a guy giving up a 3.8% home run rate. Above league average, 24% K rate. Lefties should be a little bit better against him, where he strikes them out less, only 21% of the time as opposed to 26 against righties. Not a great bullpen behind him. Seems like a volatile spot. I'm surprised that Boston's coming up this highly for me. But again, good lefties going against them, or, decent enough lefties with Duran, Roman Anthony, Wilyer Abreu. Mayer was coming up a little bit as a lefty as well. Not blow away great. Surprised to see them be the top stack, but that's why Boston's coming up. So decent match for Boston today. They're coming up as my highest ROI 5-man stack right now, by a decent margin. They're at 51%, and the Mets are going to be number 2 at 30. But Mets is having a 30% ROI above average here. Red Sox, and you're in now. Great. That's what we're trying to do. I'm actually just trying to give you some things to make you gamble when you don't really want to. Yeah, hire a baddie to handle my leverage finance. Well, then she's going to be yelling at me about how I have to respect her big cannons like that guy, JP Morgan. Which the most, no woman in her life has ever said the word cannons outside of pornography. I have to say, if you haven't followed that saga, you know what I'm talking about. Look up JP Morgan lawsuit thing, and you'll probably get that pretty fast. Mets plus 30% ROI above average here across the slate. Mets a team I've been willing to go to, even though obviously they have been terrible in terms of getting results lately. Let's see where the Mets are popping up in particular. Combo with Ragans, Wheeler, Batty, Alvarez, Soto, Melendez, and Mauricio. But we got the Mets here. So the Mets going against Urania. So we did talk about him before. Urania, not great start here with the 2.2 whip. I missed that part earlier. But the strikeout stuff, home run stuff doesn't look that bad. Obviously, if you're letting guys on base that much, 2.2 walks and hits per inning, that's not great. Before the Mets here, facing a guy who's maybe letting guys on a lot, bad bullpen behind him with the park upgrade. I think that's why the Mets are coming up. Urania splits. He's only faced 60 batters. The sample size, really nothing noteworthy. He's getting guys to chase. And they're avoiding hard hits. That's the kind of spot where I don't expect the stack to go nuts. I don't expect them to all hit a home run or something like that. But I think it could be one of those death by 1,000 cuts kind of games where you see guys getting on base. You see guys kind of adding up the runs without it being super impressive. We got Jason here saying Urania's got good stuff, just bad control. I mean, that would be my read from looking at the fact he's getting guys to chase, avoiding the hard contact. It means that guys aren't really putting their bats on him in a major way, despite the fact they're getting on base. But he's probably not going to figure out his control stuff today. So I think the probability of guys getting on base, creating extra at-bats, that's why the Mets are coming up here. So Mets not an exciting team to go to, but sometimes getting that park shift, getting, I think, the opportunity to go against a pitcher who's getting his sea legs, that's stuff that can get a team right. So the Mets have been so bad. They're not going to be that bad with how much money they're spending. Angels, 15% above average ROI here. Best combos, Reagans with Richardson, and Adele, Lowe, Trout, Moncada, and Neto paired with it. Let's see what the Angels are coming up in my top stacks. Hopefully this format works for you guys. I feel like this is helpful for me just to see this process of, here's the top stack. Why are they coming up? The Angels going against Christian Scott here. Guys face 210 batters, basically. 19% K rate, 4% on run rates, and not getting strikeouts, giving up some pretty dangerous power. Lefties mashing him. 230 ISO against lefties. And it's a pretty even sample size for him against both righties and lefties. Righties only a 130 ISO, so definitely some underlying issues against lefties. 5% on run rate, 17% K rate. Against righties, we're talking 22% K rate, 3% home run rate. 40% chase rate's not awful. Not as good as Urania. Yeah, I mean, look, the Angels have hit better pitchers hard, and the wind's blowing out. Good weather, good park factors. So yeah, I don't mind the Angels here. I guess getting both sides of the bat, coming pretty good. I think it's all pretty good. Can't wait to purchase your more than affordable product. Thank you for that. Is that locked your price if your price goes up? Unclear right now because I'm sort of mapping out a couple different things. I'm not comfortable talking about publicly yet, but I think it all just comes down to how many people are signed up heading into NFL. If everybody's signed up and I don't add stuff like a lineup building tool, it's probably just going to be a slight increase heading into NFL because I'm really going to have to work 7 days a week with NFL, NBA, and MLB coming up at the same time period. So definitely is going to be some price increase most likely before NFL season, but how much depends on how many people are signed up is sort of the thing. And then what I'm adding is also the other part of it, but, sign up now. I'd say no matter what, cause that's a good thing to do. Boston, 60%, but no guaranteed price lock. I just can't do that at this time cause I don't know. Boston, 60% ROI above average in their 4-man stacks. Best combo coming up for me is Wu and Sheehan with Duran, Mayer, Contreras, and Abreu. So gonna get in some of those lefties here up in this Boston lineup. Not a surprise what we just saw. Angels coming up number 2. We already saw them. 30% ROI above average in their 4-man stacks on DraftKings. Cantillo, a guy who actually has popped up in our data before and done really well. Wheeler as well with this Angel stack. And then Soler, Trout, Moncada, and Neto is a group of Angels coming up. And the White Sox coming up here as my number 3 4-man stack and also my number 3 3-man stack. Spoiler alert. Raggins and Sheehan with Benintendi, Montgomery, Vargas, and Murakami. Why are the White Sox coming up? Let's find out. And if you guys watch the video after the fact too, leave me comments if you think that the format could be better, whatever. Or if you don't want me to spend as much time in the game by game view, it's also fine. Just want to hear the stacks. We could do it that way. But Herman Marquez going against the White Sox here. Marquez, a guy, getting dinged up in his Colorado career, still carrying some of those numbers with him. But he's also just not very good. So 3.8 runs going against Marquez. White Sox, not a great total. You do have some guys with pop, though. Murakami, Montgomery, Antonacci, all raking righty pitchers so far. Murakami, just a demon, man. I know the Japanese fans loved him. Saw that enough on Twitter. He's really been smashing that ball. 312 ISO. Crazy stuff. Yeah, I don't mind the short White Sox stack. 5-man White Sox stack, probably not for me. If I'm getting Murakami, Montgomery, Antonacci mixing in, Midroth, a little bit less excited about him currently. Kalenic should have been a better player, but he's still okay. 175 ISO. Benintendi, not the most exciting, but he's in leadoff here. If the stack gets there, he could get driven in. And Vargas has hit his upside enough, too. I think he's better sometimes in terms of hitting a ceiling than the numbers actually say with the 150 ISO and a pretty meh 83 WRC plus against righties. It's not a great situation, I think, for them with the bullpen. I mean, this is about as green of a bullpen as you're going to find for San Diego. Park factors as well in San Diego, all pretty beneficial there. But for a cheap stack that does have some pop and some upside, that's why the White Sox are coming up. Though, frankly, Murakami at 6K is not cheap anymore. Neither is Vargas at 4,800. I'm a little surprised to see the White Sox coming up. That's a low Vegas total. You have guys that have pop. You have guys that can hit home runs, but the park factor is not there. Look, I question Stokastic data. I can question my own, too. I don't know if the White Sox are, like, this great of a team today when they're priced where they are. I think they're going to be more like Miami price. We're like, yeah, Murakami's expensive, kind of like Marcia is sometimes, or Edwards. But no, that's pricey. Your top 3-man stacks, Boston number 1, Angels number 2, White Sox number 3 for me. I got to think Stokastic's going to disagree with me pretty meaningfully today, but we will see. Braves in their Coors spot, accounting for the ownership and the situation. Got the Braves all the way down here. So I would be anti-Braves today. We'll see. FanDuel-wise, your top stacks, Boston number 1 for me, White Sox number 2. Cleveland coming up in number 3 on FanDuel, 25% ROI. Your combos that have the highest ROI, again, this is small sample size, so really keep that in mind, please, because I think I try to do the best I can to highlight small sample size versus big sample size. These numbers up here, the full 4-man stack for Boston, that's a big sample size, 1,500 lineups. This one with Sheehan, Rafaela, Duran, Contreras, Abreu, it might be like 10 lineups underneath that, so like you got to kind of frame that accordingly. But the White Sox, 42% ROI above average at number 2 for my 4-man stack. Best combo is Sheehan on FanDuel with Benintendi, Montgomery, Murakami, and Antonacci. Again, surprised to see the White Sox coming up that much for me. But it is, smaller group of lineups compared to the others, so you don't have to play them a lot. Cleveland, 25% ROI above average here with McClanahan, Schneemann, Ramirez, Manzardo, and Kwan being the combo, getting a lot of those good lefties in that spot that should be benefiting them. Your best 3-man stacks on FanDuel, Boston number 1, 40% ROI above average. The best small sample size combo is Scott, Duran, Story, and Abreu. White Sox at 39% ROI above average. Best small sample size combo of them is Scott, Benintendi, Montgomery, and Murakami. And Baltimore at number 3 with McClanahan, Henderson, Alonso, and Ward being the best small sample size combo paired with that. Your highest sim win rate, guys. And again, feature here that I highlighted yesterday on stream for that I want to highlight again because I think it's a really cool one. You can now see here across all the 100,000 contest sims I'm running for the sites, when Cole Ragans wins, who loses, or I guess not who loses, but who wins with him. When he loses, who wins instead. Who are the pivots at his price tag that are coming up the most as well? You can now see that when you expand the row. Again, VIP members only at splashplaypodcast.com, but I think it's a really feature I was thinking about for a while, and I was like, why don't I just do this? Because I know the data's in there. I've been working through it with all the back testing stuff. So now it's in for that for MLB and for NBA, so check it out if you are a VIP member. But Cole Ragans, our top win rate guy on DraftKings right now, 29% win rate. Fields at also 29. I'm just a slightly higher version. We've talked enough about Ragans here. Elite strikeout stuff, price tag's too low for a guy with a 30% plus K rate. Emmett Sheehan, a guy that always pops in my data. Frankly, the results have been, hit and miss for him a little bit, but 8,700, decent probability of a win always, going against a Cardinals team where if you survive that top three, should be all good. Park factor is good for him as well. I'm at 28%, Fields at 17. Zach Wheeler, 25% for me, Fields at 22. And that's all pitchers coming up here. Brian Woo, Will Warren, it's pitcher stuff coming up mostly on DraftKings. Schultz getting any love? 2% sim win rate for me. So not in my data, but if you're playing the White Sox, I would certainly think playing their pitcher would not be crazy. The price tag for that projection that does not look super good. FanDuel highest win rate, guys. Jose Ramirez, 27% sim win rate. Fields at 20. I say I'm up on him on FanDuel at 3,500. Juan Soto, 21%. And he is surrounded by all those lefties, so it's a good situation for him, even though he's not really benefiting directly from that pitcher matchup. Juan Soto, 21% sim win rate. Fields at 15.5. So Juan Soto here looking pretty good relative to the above the field ownership that I have. Aaron Judge is going to be pretty chalky on FanDuel at 25%. I've got him at a 21% win rate. But again, hard to critique him as well. Getting any lefty matchup for him. The numbers really just become cartoon-like. Home run model. Zooming out so you can see the confidence ratings. Aaron Judge, number one. I have him as a 50% chance hit home run, 12% chance hitting 2+ home runs. So I would play him at least at 12%. But realistically, you can make the case with that probability of a home run, especially on FanDuel, you got a pretty good shot of making a winning lineup with that ownership, I would think. I don't think it should be in half your lineups. I've said enough on stream. I really don't fundamentally believe any hitter should be in your lineups. You have 50% if you can avoid it. But Judge, I think it's a good spot for him. 4 stars of confidence for a home run today. Or for that, for the 50% chance at home run, rather. Kyle Schwarber, 4 stars of confidence for him as well, and a 36% home run probability going against Yuri Perez. The guy's got good strikeout stuff, but does struggle with the power that he gives up. So for Kyle Schwarber here, always able to do it for sure. Murakami at number 3. This is probably part of why the White Sox are coming up. They view them as having a decent probability of hitting home run. Murakami, 35% chance at home run. Not the biggest sample size, only 2 stars of confidence. Colson Montgomery, bigger sample size. 34% probability at home run today, 4 stars of confidence. And Cal Raleigh, 34% chance at home run against Cal Ragans. Definitely the kind of guy that could blow up a lefty. 34% chance, 5 stars of confidence for Raleigh to hit a home run. So maybe he hits one even if Ragans has a good day. That happens. Let's go to Stokastic next. You've seen all my data at splashplaypodcast.com. Of course, it will update as the day goes on. Important to keep that in mind when you watch any of these videos, that they will change when you get closer to lock. Vegas totals move, lineups move especially. But let's build this out, guys. Let's Stokastic build 5,000 lineups, and they'll compete 10,000 times. So let's see how we go. 2 for 3 with 2 home runs versus Povich, but I'll fade Judge of that ownership. Yeah, I mean, look, my model really loves Judge. It often does, but it is what it is. Guys, if you can't hit that like button and subscribe, goes a long way for any creator you enjoy on YouTube, but especially me, an independent one, is doing the best I can every day to give you guys takes that are data, sound, mind, body, sound as well. But please join along for that ride here. Hit the like button, subscribe. New videos for the MLB every day. And I appreciate when you guys hit that like button and show some love, because it helps me fight that good fight against the YouTube algorithm that can be a pain in the behind. Check out Stokastic as well. You're going to see their sim coming up here, but the important thing when you use their sim is to get your hands on it. You run the sim, tweak the projections a little bit based on how you view a slate. So what the best players who win a lot of money with Stokastic do. But if nothing else, you'll get idiot-proof great DFS lineups no matter who you want to play with Stokastic. So check them out for yourself. 15% off the promo code SPLASH. And of course, my site, splashplaypodcast.com. That's the big one. If you want to support the show, want to see it go on forever, sign up at splashplaypodcast.com. More the merrier. Of course, again, really been adding a lot of new features pretty much daily for the MLB, for the NBA, the Best Ball Champion tool for the NFL. If you want to win that $3 million on DraftKings this year for Best Ball, using my Best Ball Champion tool, help you build more sound lineups across the board, no matter what you're doing as well. But check it out for yourself, splashplaypodcast.com. $40 a month gets you everything for VIP. $20 a month gets you the Squirt Squad tier with everything, all the sports rather rolled in there. So check it out for yourself right now. All right, Stokastic. Cole Raggins, number 1 here. Yuri Perez and this top ROI lineup with Boston. Hey, Boston for the Stokastic Sim too. A Boston 5-2. Cole Raggins, Yuri Perez, Carlos Narvaez, Wilson Contreras, Marcelo Mayer, Bo Bichette, Gunnar Henderson, Juan Soto, Jarren Duran, and Wilyer Abreu. So happy to see they're with me on Boston here a little bit. Seemingly the Mets too. Mets at number 2. Mets 5-man stack with Brian Wu, Cole Raggins, Francisco Alvarez, Shohei Ohtani, Fernando Tatis, Bo Bichette, Ronnie Mauricio, Juan Soto, Helio Ramos, and MJ Melendez. So we got a little parlay mode with the 5-man stack of the Mets. Number 3 is in Braves Athletics 5-2. So we are getting the Braves and Coors a little bit here. Sheehan, Cole Raggins, Jonah Helm, Shohei Ohtani, Zach Geloff, Austin Riley, Jorge Mateo, Ronald Acuna, Brent Rooker, Eli White. Mets stack again at number 4. Mets 5-2 with the Yankees. Wheeler and Raggins paired with Alvarez, Vientos, Chisholm, Bo Bichette, Ronnie Mauricio, Aaron Judge, Juan Soto. Judge and Soto's pretty fun paired together, especially getting good pitching like Wheeler and Raggins with that. And Adolis Garcia makes this one as well. Another Mets 5-man at number 5. Mets 5-man with Will Warren and Cole Raggins. Francisco Alvarez makes it. Mark Vientos, Marcus Semien, Jose Ramirez, Carlos Correa, Aaron Judge, Brent Beatty, and MJ Melendez. Look, some guys make it a lot like Melendez where I'm like, okay. But the stacks more aligned with me than they have been some other days. Your highest ROI players across all Stokastic lineups here, so not just top 150, it's just the entire pool. Mark Vientos at 11% ROI. Jorge Mateo, number 2 from Atlanta. 3K salary for him, gets an 8% ROI, so cheap guys coming up top. Ronnie Mauricio at 2,300 coming up at number 3. That Met stack, part of why they're coming up. Multi-position eligibility for Mauricio probably doesn't hurt either. MJ Melendez from the Mets coming up at number 4, 7% ROI. Eli White at number 5 from Atlanta. 2,700, cheap in that spot, going into Coors. And then Jarren Duran, Manzardo, Austin Riley, Jonah Heim, all positive ROIs on those guys. Your highest stack ROIs, 3-man stack is Boston. Mets at number 2, Atlanta number 3, just ahead of the Yankees. 4-man stack, Mets number 1, Atlanta number 2, Boston number 3. So besides the Atlanta part, which I was just real low on, getting similar stuff, I think, with mine and Stokastics. And then Mets number 1 here, Boston number 2 for 5-man stacks. And Atlanta 5-man at number 3, just ahead of the Yankees as well. Where are they at the White Sox? White Sox, that Vegas total, they got to hate them, right? Yeah, White Sox all the way down here. They are not Team White Sox today. And I do think a little bit of that is just like probably some regression built in for Herman Marquez not having the full Coors sample size, maybe. That'd be my guess. But Cole Raggins, your top exposure players across Stokastic's top 150 lineups there at 67%. Fields at 26, so pretty big stand here on Cole Raggins. But, we've talked about him enough. He's got great strikeout stuff for a guy who is that cheap, and that's really the big thing that's going to matter there. Ronald Acuna at number 2, 55% exposure. Fields at 23. Again, I'm low on that Braves stack. Acuna, though, a guy who can benefit from just getting extra bases, let alone can benefit from the pop that's generated from the air. At Coors, it's not super hot. It's not super humid, so it's not ideal hitting conditions at Coors. But you're getting a pretty big Vegas total, and Acuna's one of your bigger drivers of runs for the Braves, so I get why they're getting there. It's a lot, though. Again, 55% Acuna. It's a lot for any hitter, but, whatever. Ozzie Albies, 39% exposure across Stokastic's top 150. Fields 16. You're getting a lot of Braves here. Austin Riley, 38% exposure. Fields at 15. So big stands on Albies, Riley, and Acuna. Will Warren coming up at 35%. Fields at 23. It's a big stand on Will Warren, a guy who I looked at the numbers, was not super wowed. But Stokastic is there, and, look, you got to default to the site that wins people millions of dollars sometimes. And Aaron Judge just outside the top 5. 34% exposure. Fields at 13. So really big hitter stands today for Stokastic. Your highest leverage plays, Cole Raggins, number 1, 40% more in the field. Again, you're getting him in about 2/3 of lineups in the fields at 26. Ronald Acuna, 32% leverage on him. Austin Riley, 23% leverage on him. We've talked about these guys already. Jorge Mateo coming up as part of that Braves stack, 23% leverage on him. He's only 10% owned. And Ozzie Albies, 22% leverage on him. He's only 16% owned. I mean, only. But he's 39% in Stokastic's top 150. Massive stands on Atlanta here. Your negative leverage plays, Zach Wheeler. They're only getting 9%. Fields at 22. I like Wheeler a lot more than that, but Stokastic, definitely a Miami Marlins respecter on their sim data. Shane McClanahan, negative 8% leverage for him. Only 3% exposure in the fields at 11. Sure. You could fade any pitcher on a slate. That's nothing crazy. Chase DeLauder, negative 6% leverage on him. Only 2% exposure. Fields at 8. I mean, DeLauder, nothing special, but He is getting that lefty split, hitting the 2 spot against Ginn. Park upgrade as well. It's a big fade on the ladder, but you got to play, got to fade somebody if you're going to play that much Braves. Trey Turner, 2% exposure, Fields at 8. That's a negative 6% leverage. Basically the same as George Springer, who only makes 1 in a Stokastic top 150 lineups, and the Fields at 5.5%. That's how it looks. Let's do our hand builds, guys. We'll pull up my top stack. We'll pull up my highest ROI lineup according to my sim, and we'll see what they got. If you guys have any questions, any things you want me to look up here, because we're making decent time, let me know and I'll check it. If not, we'll be in our last stage of our journey here. Second last stage. I still got to get my splash plays. Let's zoom out a little here. All right. So my top stack right now would be that Boston stack that we talked about. We know the sim likes Raggins, so we won't get boned too hard there. Didn't really pick up on the sims thoughts on Sheehan. We are going to go Emmett Sheehan here. And then let's put in our Boston stack. Jarren Duran. Marcelo Mayer at second base. Roman Anthony in the outfield. Wilson Contreras at first base. Wilyer Abreu. Taking up all of our outfield spots. I never love. But let's have the complete the lineup here. They put in Jose Ramirez, Jorge Mateo, and Francisco Alvarez from the Mets. So that's what we're simming out here. Raggins, Sheehan, Francisco Alvarez, Wilson Contreras, Marcelo Mayer, Jose Ramirez, Jorge Mateo, Jarren Duran, Roman Anthony, and Wilyer Abreu. 49% ROI on that, so not a bad review for my top stack here. Of course, Stokastic was on board with the concept of Boston stack, so maybe not crazy to see. And then my top ROI lineup right now would be this one. We're fading Raggins. Stokastic not going to love that. But we're going Sheehan and Yuri Perez with Will Smith. Then we do have Contreras again. What could go wrong with crazy Wilson Contreras ownership at second base? He says sarcastically. Ahmed Rosario at second. Third base. This is getting a little parlay here in a way that my lineups are usually not. Moncada. Shortstop Caballero. Outfield, we get Wilyer Abreu, Jarren Duran. And we get the big boy, Aaron Judge, the big bopper coming in. That's why it's a little more parlay, I think. This lineup here, Sheehan, Yuri Perez, Will Smith, Wilson Contreras, Ahmed Rosario, Yoan Moncada, Jose Caballero, Wilyer Abreu, Jarren Duran, and Aaron Judge. 53% ROI. All right, that's not bad. I expect my ROIs to be 1-to-1 with Stokastic, but as long as they're giving me and my data some respect, 0.3% win rate, 1.7% top 10 for this lineup, I can live with that, guys. That's the video here. So I'm going to give you guys my splash plays of the day one more time, but real fast, guys, let's go over. Actually, you know what? Let me see. Can I log into Splash Sports right now? Because I do want you guys to be familiar with Splash Sports. We're going to dig into it a little more next week. Today, we're just introducing things because I do want to make sure to get you guys, familiar with our new sponsor, Splash Sports. But check them out. The big thing that you're getting over there is that you are getting the $20 in free quick picks right away. You also get a $100 sign-up bonus there. So, really big stuff that you're getting over at Splash Sports right now. So check it out for yourself, splashsports.com, or you click the link in the description as well. Actually, it would be ideal if you click that one because that gets me attribution right away. Click the link in the description, go over there right now, and learn more. Again, I don't own the site in case anybody is ever concerned that I do. But I do think they're doing great stuff over here. And again, you can see the site. I'm pulling it up right now. They got, oh wait, why is it just me? We got Rick Rungood's PGA Championship. They have a lot of games going on. Their hit streak survivor with Ariel Epstein, the beautiful prop queen over there, doing some good work in the streets of the survivor stuff. But the quick picks is where you get the best deal on here. I think I can only show you certain ones because it being in Pennsylvania, yeah, it only allows me to do combined bets, so I can't show you home run stuff. But Ketel Marte, 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs. You can see all this data on my site if you want to make the comparison. And I'm probably going to look at putting together a little comparison tool just so there's something easy for you guys to use if you want to squeeze some EV out of the partnership. But again, it's a simple format, similar. You're doing the more or less stuff for quick picks. And again, the biggest change here is that you are playing peer-to-peer on there. So you can actually not win all of your pick your picks in the quick pick, but still get it right for yourself. So it's a big thing. There's no house. You don't have to be perfect. You get your money doubled and you get a 48x payout if you hit and you win amidst that field for a 6x quick pick thing on Splash Sports. So I'm going to be learning more about it. Again, I'm trying to figure out a way that I can play it in PA still because they all have some site credits on here. But check it out for yourself at Splash Sports right now. Again, you're supporting the show. But more than anything, getting in there for a partner that I personally vetted, went through a bunch of talks to them to make sure that they're not doing shit that I think is scummy like some other companies out there. That's what we're getting here. And I think there's a lot of cool stuff coming up. There's Survivor stuff for NFL gets really, really big. And, maybe some stuff coming up with us there as well on the NFL side. But check it out right now. Splash Sports X Splash Play. So you can see on the screen here, promo code Splash Play over there right now will get you $20 free on quick picks and 100% deposit boost. And you guys know this stuff too. So yeah, we got all the plugs here. All right. Thank you for convincing me to spend more money today. Yeah, there we go. And Rick Rungood's the truth for at PGA. I've enjoyed his content. I don't know him personally. I think Pete's actually friends with him now. He seems like a good guy from what I've known from him content-wise, and I do think all the people I've liked so far at Splash Sports, and again, they've done a good job. They help sponsor our friend Pete Over's show, the Swolecast. So they're doing good stuff in the space, and I like partnering with companies that I think are good as opposed to doing vague evil, But Splash plays of the day here. For me, it has to be the stacks again that we talked about. Boston, #1 by such a wide margin for me. A little bit scary because I don't think you're getting the greatest run total, but those lefty splits, good Vegas total as well there, even though it's not a blow away good one. They're popping up for me huge, so I trust my data. As long as my data holds with that, that's what we'll be playing. Mets coming up big for me, and Stokastics. I think I feel even better about that one. Angels, I like more than Stokastic. White Sox, short stacks, I think are worth that shot today. At pitcher, Cole Raggins is my highest win rate guy, but Sheehan, Wheeler, I think these guys are all pretty close. I'd all have them being about 25% or more, but not higher than a 33% chance to be the winning pitcher. So I think mixing them in is good. I'm happy to woo. I'd prefer to woo as opposed to Will Warren my way through things. And Joey Cantillo, whenever he pops up my data, can't poo-poo him too much because he has won a lot of slates when he pops in my data. I think he's a guy, if I'm going to pay down all the way 7,400, I think he looks pretty good at pitcher as well to pair with that stuff. But it's a cheap tournament today on DraftKings, so maybe put a little more in today. That's what I'm doing as well. Make sure to gamble. As I say that, though, make sure to gamble responsibly, guys, even though it is always money time. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow the channel at Splashplay Bets on YouTube. On Twitter, at Splashplay Pod. I'll tell you whenever I go live. We'll be back at 2 p.m. for the NBA. I also, again, encourage you guys to go to splashplaypodcast.com. Really sign up over there. A lot of stuff I'm adding every day, including some new features for stuff that are being added literally as we speak right now. So it's a lot I'm working on over there, but you get one package for the NBA, for the NFL, for the MLB, all my stuff, $40 a month. If you want everything that I have, $20 a month for the Score Squad tier if you want a little bit less than everything I have. But check it out for yourself, and I'll be back with you guys again at 2 p.m. So enjoy your days. Good luck. See you guys soon, and catch you at 2 for the NBA. And if not, have a great weekend, guys, and go Sox! Go Sox! Bye, guys.